Hello everyone, this is Mr. Hunia here going through and talking about emotion wheels. These are going to be excellent tools for helping you with identifying emotions and things of that nature and really building upon the basic emotion stuff that we talked about in class today. So there is a set of questions that go along with this in Canvas. So as I go through this video and outline it, just answer the questions. Alright, so the first thing we have here is what are emotion wheels? We have two examples down here. We'll be going through them in more in detail. But these are tools for helping people pinpoint emotions. Alright, and the reason this is important is because making sure that you understand your emotions and pinpointing is the key to process how you feel and expressing how you feel. If you think about it, in many cases, you go through life, in many cases you may feel some type of way, or you may not be able to describe how you feel, or you may not be in a place where you can express yourself freely. So the thing is, understanding how to pinpoint this stuff helps let those emotions out and does not keep them bottled up. So we're going to be talking about two different emotion wheels, and you guys will have opportunities to put these into practice. So the first we have is Plutchik's wheel, which suggests that we have 8 core emotions. And these emotions are derived from 2 secondary emotions. So if you look at this wheel, whenever I show it to you, it's going to show 8 core emotions around the outside, which is a lot different than what you see with the 6 emotions that we have. It's different. So it's adding in 2, and then it talks about how we can experience these emotions in varying degrees, but at the same time, you will always see these secondary emotions occurring in pairs. So what happens is that you can identify an emotion, and it will always, according to this wheel, identify with an emotion that is right next to it. And this will make more sense as I dive into it. So here we have the wheel, and I'm going to teach you guys about reading it right now. So as you see, along the sides here, we have our, 8 different emotions all around here. So I typically tend to read it a little differently than most people, but I just want to make sure that you guys understand. So we have these 8 emotions all around here, but a lot of times we can't always pinpoint that sense of what we feel. So for example, you may feel a sense of love. So you may feel a sense of love, and oftentimes what they're saying is these 8 emotions are occurring with the 2 emotions that you experience that are right beside it. So for example, you'll either experience serenity and acceptance, serenity and trust, serenity and admiration, joy and acceptance, joy and trust, joy, admiration, ecstasy. And what happens is everything that starts here is very mild, so you don't experience a lot of emotion. But as you move in, the emotions get stronger. So serenity is the idea of feeling peaceful. And then from peaceful, we feel joy. We feel happy. And then from joy, we feel ecstasy. We're ecstatic. We're super excited. We're on cloud 9. So we're going up we're going up from something that is very mild to something that is very concentrated and focused. And as according to this emotion wheel goes, these will always occur in pairs based off sides. So for example, you can experience optimism by experiencing serenity and interest, or serenity and anticipation, or anticipation and ecstasy. This is the idea of optimism. So typically what happens is when you want to read this wheel is you want to find an emotion. You want to find an emotion that you identify with. And like I said, it doesn't have to be one of the core outside emotions. It can be any of these. So find an emotion that happens. So let's say one day you were feeling super mad. Something really mad happened. So you were feeling absolute rage. Okay, so you're feeling absolute rage. Something bad happened. So right now, you can either experience a sense of aggression, or you can have a sense of contempt. So in many cases, you may feel a sense of, you're very upset. But at the same time, Maybe you're also experiencing anticipation for something. So you're very upset because something is taking a long time to happen and you want to get it done. Or you're feeling very upset because something could possibly happen and you're anticipating it, but you're wanting to make it happen. Okay, so you develop that sense of aggression. Or, for example, you may have a sense of disgust. You may see something in the news. Maybe you see that, maybe you hear that something terrible is happening in Rock Hill. Maybe a figure that you looked up to, someone that you really admired. Turns out they were, running a puppy mill in Rock Hill. And you found out that one of your favorite celebrities was operating this puppy mill and crating dogs up and abusing puppies. And so now you feel this rage because this person is so bad because they're mistreating puppies and you love puppies. And you also feel a sense of disgust for this person because this was someone you once admired, you cared about, and then now, guess what? You don't feel that anymore. So you may have a sense of contempt for that person. And ironically, if you think about it, as I use that word admire, as we go here and look to the opposite here, once again, what do we have? Admiration. So typically it shows the opposite end of the spectrum of emotions that you can feel. So I hope that makes sense from that emotion wheel. So there are some questions that you feel, or not questions, there are some questions in Canvas that are more open-ended for you to practice using this emotion wheel. So go ahead and pause this video and give that a go. All right, so now that we've practiced with that, let's go ahead and try to go with the identifier wheel, is what I call it. So this uses the traditional 6 emotions that we always have. And that we talked about in class. So this typically begins by addressing the core emotion and then moving outward, and then can also be used to identify specific emotions from a generalized feeling. So sometimes you may feel bad, or you may talk to someone and they're like, "Oh, I feel bad." Well, why do you feel bad? Well, I don't know. So guess what? We're going to go from that standpoint and build on an inward. So according to reading this wheel, you're going to start in the middle with a general emotion you may feel, and from there you choose a secondary emotion, and from there you choose a tertiary emotion. So think about it when someone says, "Oh, I might feel some type of way." So let's talk about being afraid. You, for whatever reason, you are feeling afraid. So let's say you're talking to someone, maybe they're talking to you, and someone expresses the emotion that they are feeling afraid. All right, that's good. But why are you feeling afraid? Why are you feeling afraid? What's the purpose of it? All right, so from here, we have all of these emotions that we can pick from to help us understand why we're feeling afraid. Do we have a sense of being scared? Are we anxious? Do we feel insecure? Feeling submissive? Are we feeling rejected? Are we feeling humiliated? So maybe someone took a really funny photo of us and they're telling us, "Oh, we're probably going to show it to everyone because it's a funny photo." And you're like, "Oh my Lord, I don't want to be humiliated. I don't want to be afraid of that." So you start feeling very afraid because you might end up getting humiliated by this funny photo. All right. So from that, how do you think you might feel from there? Are you afraid because this is now something where you feel disrespected? Or are you afraid because this is going to be an area where you can get ridiculed, made fun of, poked fun at? And then this is how we end up going through. A lot of times people may feel maybe one way or both or, the other, but at the end of the day, this helps you better articulate your emotions. So rather than sitting there and telling someone, "I'm afraid," why? Because someone took this photo. Okay, why are you afraid of that? You can better articulate it. Well, I'm afraid because, I feel really disrespected. As we know, disrespect is basically not treating someone as they should be treated. So when people disrespect you, that makes you feel afraid because you want to be treated correctly. So just an example of that. So as you guys look through Canvas, you will see once again, I have like a couple of questions there where you can get practice using this wheel. So pause this video and go through it. So why is this important? All right. Well, first off, being able to identify, express, and articulate your emotions is part of a human experience. All right. These wheels also help in creating talking points for the next steps of what you do. A lot of times we can identify why we feel something, and we can identify the core emotion. That's great. What are we going to do about it? A lot of times it helps us navigate and make the next steps to what we need to do. All right, and then finally, it's about fostering emotional literacy, which is the ability to recognize your own emotions as well as the emotions of others so you can better understand them. So this is very important from the standpoint of emotional literacy because this is going to help develop empathy. It's going to help developing your communication skills and working with other people. More so, it's a great thing to have because it's going to allow you to better understand how to work with other people and understanding their emotions as well. And the more you understand that, the better you can be in the workplace, not just the workplace, but a friend, a family member, and everything else. So it's very important to have this sense. And, they're starting now to actually develop studies, and they've done studies about how they want to develop emotional literacy in children extremely early because it is one of the foundational building blocks for success later on in life. And we will actually be developing a physical product of that for your first project tomorrow. But outside of that, that is all I have. So make sure that you finish the questions that go along with this video. And from there, continue along with the module.